Sriwijaya, the maritime kingdom that ruled the spice routes.
But before we start, please support us by pressing like and subscribe buttons. Also turn on the bell notification to get the latest updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you.
Long before Indonesia became a collection of modern islands, it was the cradle of powerful kingdoms that shaped the history of Southeast Asia. Among them, the kingdom of Sriwijaya stood as a beacon of power, wealth, and maritime mastery. Nestled in what is now South Sumatra, Sriwijaya thrived not with vast armies or endless stretches of farmland, but with something even more potent, its command of the seas. It was a maritime empire that not only controlled trade routes but also became a gateway for culture, religion, and knowledge throughout the archipelago and beyond. The origins of Sriwijaya trace back to the 7th century, rising from the estuary of the Musi River in Palembang. This strategic location allowed the kingdom to dominate both the Malacca and Sunda Straits, two of the most important maritime passageways in the ancient world. At a time when the world's thirst for spices was insatiable, Sriwijaya emerged as the gatekeeper of these precious commodities. Unlike other land-based empires, Sriwijaya's strength lay in its navy and network of ports. With hundreds of ships under its command, the kingdom transformed the surrounding seas into its royal highways. Sriwijayan ports were bustling centers where traders from China, India, the Middle East, and even East Africa came to barter silks, ceramics, jewels, and, most notably, spices like cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon. These goods were funneled through Sriwijaya's harbors before continuing their journey to distant corners of the world. The kingdom was not just a middleman in trade. It also became a melting pot of cultures and religions, particularly Buddhism. Sriwijaya's rulers were devout followers of Mahayana Buddhism, and the capital city was dotted with monasteries and learning centers. Monks from as far as China, like the famed scholar Yizing or Yijing, made long pilgrimages to study in Sriwijaya. In his writings, Yizing described the kingdom as a flourishing center of Buddhist scholarship where monks mastered Sanskrit and studied Buddhist scriptures before continuing on to India. This cultural richness was fueled by the prosperity brought by maritime trade. With wealth flowing in from all directions, Sriwijaya could support massive infrastructure projects and maintain a highly organized administration. The king, considered a semi-divine ruler, presided over a court that was both religious and political. Under him were vassal states, each loyal to the central authority and connected through tribute, marriage, and trade. Sriwijaya was more than just a single city-state. It was a thalassocracy, a sea-based empire with influence stretching from the Malay Peninsula to western Borneo, and even parts of the Philippines and Thailand. Its authority was enforced through a combination of diplomacy, economic control, and when necessary, naval might. Pirates and rival traders were kept in check by Sriwijaya's formidable fleet, while alliances with neighboring kingdoms ensured regional stability. The kingdom's mastery over the spice routes made it an indispensable partner, and sometimes rival, to larger empires. The Tang dynasty of China recognized Sriwijaya as a valuable ally and trading partner, sending envoys and exchanging goods. Meanwhile, Indian empires like the Cholas were both trading collaborators and cultural influencers, bringing with them elements of Hindu and Indian administrative practices that blended seamlessly with local customs. However, as with all empires, Sriwijaya's dominance was not eternal. The seeds of its decline were sown in the very waters it once ruled. In the 11th century, the Chola dynasty of southern India launched a series of naval raids against Sriwijaya. These attacks were devastating, crippling ports, disrupting trade, and undermining the kingdom's influence over its vassal states. Though Sriwijaya managed to survive these blows, it never fully recovered its former glory. The rise of new powers in the region, particularly the Majapahit Empire in Java and the rise of Islamic sultanates along the Strait of Malacca, further eroded Sriwijaya's control. Slowly, its ports lost importance, its tributaries sought independence, and its once mighty fleet dissolved into history. Yet, Sriwijaya's legacy did not vanish. It laid the foundation for maritime power in the archipelago and demonstrated how seaborne trade could unite distant lands under a single banner. It nurtured Buddhist scholarship that echoed across Southeast Asia, influencing art, architecture, and literature. And it proved that even in a world dominated by land empires, a kingdom of ships could become the heart of a thriving, global civilization. Centuries after its fall, archaeologists and historians began to piece together the story of Sriwijaya through inscriptions, Chinese chronicles, and relics unearthed in the silted ruins of Palembang. Stone steles written in Old Malay and Sanskrit spoke of kings who ruled with wisdom and might, who built temples and offered tributes to the gods. Chinese texts preserved records of emissaries who sailed across treacherous seas to trade and study. All these pieces painted the picture of a kingdom whose influence reached far beyond its shores. One of the most significant finds was the Kidukan Bukit inscription, dated to 683 CE. It mentions a king named Dapunta Hyang who led a sacred journey with thousands of troops and achieved great success. This early inscription reveals a glimpse into how the kingdom expanded and consolidated power, not just through trade, but through spiritual legitimacy and military prowess. Modern Palembang, though no longer the capital of a great maritime empire, still bears the traces of its glorious past. Beneath the layers of urban life lies a history soaked in saltwater and sunlight, carried by the ghosts of ships that once sailed under the banners of Sriwijaya. Museums display gold ornaments, inscriptions, and ancient ceramics recovered from riverbeds, each a fragment of the kingdom's lost magnificence. Sriwijaya's story is not just one of rise and fall. It is a testament to the enduring power of connectivity, how islands scattered across the sea could be bound into a single realm by trade, faith, and ambition. It challenges the notion that empires must be forged in blood and conquest alone. Instead, Sriwijaya rose through mastery of the ocean and the art of exchange. In today's world, where global trade once again shapes the fates of nations, the legacy of Sriwijaya serves as both inspiration and caution. Its brilliance shone brightly because it understood the tides of commerce, culture, and faith. But when those tides turned, the very waters that brought wealth and power also became the currents of decline. Still, for centuries, Sriwijaya ruled the waves and commanded the spice routes. It was a kingdom of sailors and scholars, of monks and merchants, of kings who saw the ocean not as a boundary, but as a bridge. And in that vision, Sriwijaya carved its name into the timeless history of the archipelago, a name that still echoes in the whispers of the sea.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you like videos like this. Thank you.